Hi everyone, my name is Chloe Knox. Today I'm presenting a full sport analysis on men's court volleyball. The goal is to break down the demands of the sport so we can design more intelligent position-specific training. I'll cover match flow, physiological demands, KPIs, injury risks, and performance strategies. Let's begin with the overall structure and movement patterns of the game. Volleyball is a sport built on short bursts of max intensity, separated by relatively brief rest periods. Every play demands precision and reactive agility. Matches involve rallies that last anywhere from 4 to 30 seconds, with an average around 9 seconds. Between rallies, there's about 10 to 20 seconds of rest, leading to a work to rest ratio of roughly 1 to 1.3. Players repeatedly perform max vertical jumps, lateral changes of direction, and rapid decelerations, making it a highly reactive sport. Movement demands are position specific. Middles average about 11 block jumps and nearly 8 attack jumps per match. Outsides average around 6 attack jumps. Setters perform over 20 submaximal jumps as they coordinate the offense. Understanding these numbers help us align training volumes more appropriately. Volleyball's tactical side requires constant transition. Players rotate positions and responsibilities throughout the match. Setters must be especially quick in reading the defense and delivering accurate sets. Split-second decisions are made between whether to block, cover, or initiate a counterattack. These cognitive demands are just important as the physical ones. The main takeaway for this section is that training should reflect the nature of the game. Short bouts of effort, consistent jump exposure, and rapid directional change. Incorporating reactive drills, simulating match tempo, and managing volume based on position are essential for preparing these athletes effectively. Now we'll dive deeper into the energy systems, movement data, and load demands in volleyball. This helps guide how we structure training weeks, manage fatigue, and improve sport-specific performance. Volleyball is heavily dependent on the ATP-CP system, accounting for around 40% of total energy use during play. These are quick, high-power movements like spikes, blocks, and jumps. The aerobic system contributes about 50%, mainly helping with recovery between points and sets, and anaerobic glycolysis only accounts for roughly 10%, which makes sense given the short duration of most efforts. At the college level, athletes often compete in 3 to 4 matches per week with 2 to 3 training sessions, and ideally 1 to 2 days dedicated to recovery. That kind of schedule means we need to be very strategic about how we manage training load, especially in season. If recovery isn't built in, performance drops and injury risk increases. Now we're going to look at some performance data. Athletes cover roughly 3,855 meters per match. This includes lateral shuffles, close range sprints, and positioning movements. Lateral movement alone accounts for nearly 500 meters. On average, players perform around 19 total jumps per match, with positions like middles exceeding that. These numbers reinforce the importance of tracking both total distance and jump count for effective workload monitoring. Sprinting in volleyball is different from field sports. Most efforts are under 5 meters and they happen in reaction to an unpredictable stimulus like a dig or deflection. Studies show that a staggered stance or false step can reduce sprint times compared to a parallel stance. These subtle changes in start technique matter in a sport that rewards milliseconds, so agility training in volleyball should be reactive and positionally relevant. To keep athletes healthy, we need to monitor training load carefully. Keep the acute to chronic workload ratio below 1.5 to reduce injury risk. Also avoid increasing weekly volume by more than 30%. This applies to jump count, sprint volume, and total distance. Tools like inertial measurement units or local positioning systems can give us real-time data. Integrating that data into practice planning helps reduce overtraining and improve performance consistency. Now let's shift into the performance metrics that matter most in volleyball. KPIs help us identify strengths and limitations, compare athletes to benchmarks, and design individualized development plans. We'll look at both tactical and physical indicators broken down by position. Outside hitters need strong serve-receive skills, efficient attack timing, and consistent transition play. Middles are judged on their ability to cover lateral space quickly and close blocks. Setters are evaluated on set accuracy and how well they distribute the ball under pressure. These tactical KPIs are best assessed through game film, live observation, and positional breakdowns in scrimmage. Vertical jump height is one of the most important physical KPIs in volleyball. For spike jump height, outsides average over 341 centimeters and middles around 343 centimeters. Counter movement jumps are also tracked, giving us insight into lower body power and fatigue. Setters generally have lower values, which aligns with their role. Tracking jump height over time is a great way to monitor training effectiveness and readiness. What's especially valuable is looking at relative jump height. In elite volleyball, the difference in spike jump height between senior national team players and development team players can be as much as 8 to 10 centimeters. That shows the importance of developing relative power, especially for undersized players who need to compete above the net. Plyometric training, loaded jumps, and eccentric work all contribute to these improvements. To make KPIs useful, we need to apply them in a structured way. Test spike jump and counter movement jump during warm-ups, lifts, or dedicated monitoring days. Track trends in vertical power, especially in response to different phases of the training cycle. On the tactical side, review game footage to evaluate serve, receive quality, block timing, and transition execution. Finally, create visual dashboards to track key metrics by position so coaches and athletes can make informed adjustments. Now we're going to discuss some of the biggest challenges for athletes, injury risks, positional limitations, and structural vulnerabilities. Volleyball is physically demanding and highly repetitive, so overuse and fatigue-related breakdowns are common if we don't manage training properly. Across all positions, the most frequent injuries include patellar tendinopathy from repeated jumping ankle sprains from landing on other players, and lower back strain due to poor landing mechanics or repeated trunk rotation. Fatigue, especially in later sets, can also degrade technique and increase risk. Setters perform a high number of submaximal jumps and directional changes throughout the match. When their jumps aren't as forceful as hitters, the repetition adds up, especially under fatigue. Because they're involved in nearly every offensive sequence, they get limited rest, making recovery and mobility work essential. Middles experience the highest jump count, including most of the match's maximal efforts. They're expected to block across the net, attack from quick sets, and then recover instantly. That heavy jump and lateral movement demand makes them prone to knee and ankle injuries, so strategic rest and load cycling are critical. Outside hitters carry a dual workload. They're heavily involved in both offense and defense. They perform frequent spike landings, which increases impact forces on the lower back and shoulders. Since they often play full rotations, they also experience cumulative fatigue. We need to monitor their total workload more closely than most. Opposites are typically the primary attackers and blockers on the right side. They don't handle serve-receive duties, but their repeated efforts with minimal variability make them vulnerable to overuse injuries. Focus here should be on power, training in power, and recovery built into the week. Liberos don't jump, but they do perform hundreds of neuromuscular and reactive movements. Their role includes constant shuffling, diving, and reacting in tight windows. And this results in frequent overuse injuries to the ankles, hips, and core stabilizers. Strength and mobility for quick direction changes is a must. Every position has different stressors. That means recovery plans, strength work, and mobility routines need to be individualized. Coaches should track jump counts, rotate players during practices, and implement joint-specific injury prevention strategies, especially for high-load positions like middles and outsides. With the demands and limitations understood, now we focus on what leads to success. We'll break this down by position and explore how to tailor movement, conditioning, and monitoring strategies to help athletes excel while staying healthy. For middles, vertical jump development is critical. This includes loaded jumps, depth jumps, and eccentric focused lower body training. Also, lateral footwork drills help with blocking across the net. Outsides benefit from a combination of strength and reactive agility work since they're often shorter than middles. Developing relative power is key to maximizing their impact. Setters need to build repeat effort capacity, submaximal jumping under fatigue, but just as importantly, they should train decision-making under pressure through scenario-based drills. Drills should reflect real match demands. Sprint work should emphasize short bursts, under 5 meters, and high reactivity. Training should include simulated rallies that mirror the 1 to 1.3 work to rest ratio. Jump volume should match the average per position, and because the primary energy system is ATP-CP, training blocks should include explosive efforts with full or near full recovery. Change of direction and reactive agility are especially important for outsides and liberos. It's not enough to do cone drills. We need reactive stimuli like visual or auditory cues, unpredictable ball feeds, or live scrimmage reads. Incorporating decisions into movement enhances transfer to competition. We should rotate athletes during high volume training weeks, especially middles and outsides. Monitoring jump count, sprint volume, and ACWR helps us manage training strain and reduce injury risk. Tools like IMUs and LPS give us data on external load, allowing us to adjust sessions in real time. Recovery readiness, RPE, and soreness reports should also guide day-to-day decisions. To wrap up, we'll synthesize everything we've covered and outline how to build a better, smarter program using this information. The goal is to match the sport's unique demands with athlete-centered solutions. Volleyball is a sport of short, high-intensity bursts powered by the ATP-CP system. The 1 to 1.3 work-to-rest ratio, positional jump volumes, and reactive demands must be reflected in training. Athletes should develop vertical power, lateral quickness, and agility under fatigue. For setters, focus on repeat effort and cognitive resilience. Every drill should mirror the tempo and tension of a real match. To prevent injury, we need to track jump counts, monitor sprint volume, and keep ACWR below 1.5. Don't increase training volume by more than 30% per week. Rotate high volume players during training blocks and prioritize positional recovery. The use of tech like IMUs or wearable sensors can help detect spikes in external load before they turn into overuse injuries. High-level volleyball performance comes from the right blend of physical capacity, tactical awareness, and recovery management. Athletes must be agile and intelligent on the court. The best training programs are data-informed and position-specific. By applying performance metrics, respecting the individual workload tolerance, and building in recovery, we set athletes up for both short-term performance and long-term development. These are my references, and after this will be a short quiz. Thank you.